What up, everybody? Make sure everybody can hear me. Yeah, there we go. What up, what up? Hope everybody having a blessed day. I got the homie James Cunningham coming in the building, man. Y'all definitely want to stay in for this one. Self-made multimillionaire, was able to retire before the age of 40 and living a great lifestyle where really he's just training his daughter. She's like a top recruit in regards to track, but he just spends his time training his daughter now because he made a boatload of money and was able to retire. So he dropped a book called You Can Do It, and we are about to do a live with him. I'm actually doing his first live, so bear with me as I get him on real quick. But this is going to be something that y'all definitely want to stick around. So if y'all got questions on relationships, on business, on purpose, on pain, any of these things, definitely put it in the comment section and I'll make sure I will address it. Let me let him know. Live started. Once you hit the request to well, until he get in, man, let me know where y'all comment where y'all at right now. Where y'all listening in from? Where y'all tuning in from? Waiting on the homie James Cunningham to get up in here, and then we will get this live started. Let me see if he's in here. Oh, he's actually in here already. Let me see. Oh, there you go. I'm bringing in the guest right now. What's up, brother?
What is going on? How are you?
Hey, blessing and progressing every day above ground is a good one, man. No complaints. What about you?
You already know. Likewise. I
Appreciate
was
you
trying to
taking.
see if I can log on from my laptop, but I don't you can't join the live from the laptop, can you? Okay.
No, no, no. I think you can post now from laptops, but I don't think you can do a live from a laptop at this particular moment.
I got you. I'm completely logged out. I got like 24% on my phone, so I was like, let me see if I can pull this off on the laptop. We good though. We should be all right. How
Alrighty, man.
are
So
you,
from
man? You good?
hey, I'm blessed and progressing, man. Very happy son, 2.5 years old. Things is going good, relationships is going good, social media is going good, business is on the up and up, man. So, man, really no complaints whatsoever my way, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So for the people who may shout out to Manhattan, shout out to Ireland, shout out to Vegas, Sam Bradley say what up, Coach James.
What's up,
Uh,
Sam?
Shout out to Tallahassee in the building. Just shouting out to people that's actually watching and where they're actually from. Washington D.C. is in the building. Definitely appreciate y'all. Again, if y'all got any questions, definitely put it in the chat, Tennessee. Then I will make sure San Francisco, and I'll make sure I'll be able to ask James those particular questions. So, would you mind giving a quick synopsis for those who may be unaware of who you are, what it is that you do, and how you got started in what you do, and then a quick synopsis of your book as well?
You said quick. Sometimes it's hard to give a quick one though.
Whatever the Lord puts on your spirit.
Right. All right. So a little bit about me, man. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm still mad that we didn't pull it out, man. We should be in the World Series right now. I will always stay loyal to 216 to the day I die, right? But anyways, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I went to the University of Mount Union. I mean, I'm a fast forward some things. I grew up in the inner city, single parent household. I was the only boy in my house. I had my two sisters growing up with me. And, I found a way to get up out of my environment. And, I was blessed that God put some amazing people in my life to help steer me in the right direction. And from there, I went to a private all boy Catholic high school. That was the biggest culture shock I ever had in my life. And it helped prepare me for college prep school. From there, I went to the University of Mount Union. Back then, it was called Mount Union College. I studied sports management and business administration, and I played football there. We won a few national championships in NCAA Division III, and I also ran track and field. I was a national champion, All-American in that. And right after that, I ended up starting my career and my first position was with Wells Fargo Financial, and I was there for a year, and that was more of a transitioning phase for me because I was trying to go pro. I wanted to be a professional football player. God just had a different plan for me, and from there, I was there for a year, and after that year, I ended up doing tryouts. Actually came to Indianapolis for the combine. The last time they had a combine at the RCA Dome before they tore it down. So that was 2007, and then went down to Florida for a try. I was trying to become a professional football player, and it's hard when you're coming from a Division III competitive standpoint. The first person that got drafted out of my school was Pierre Garcon. I ran track with him. We won a national championship in our relay. But anyways, fast forward from there. I studied sports management and business administration, graduated, went on to try and become a professional football player, and that didn't work. So I had to figure some things out, and that's when I ended up finding financial services. I spent, over 14 and a half years of my life, building a business from scratch. I didn't know anything about insurance, financial services, but, I was blessed to find the right place at the right time with the right people, and I saw the opportunity. And, the biggest thing, I think a lot of times when people start a career somewhere where, let's say it's opportunity, because, people is all, man, there's so much stuff on the internet now, all these get rich quick schemes and stuff like that. What really attracted me was the people who were leading the organization where I started my career. For the first time, I literally saw what a good man looked like from all facets of life. Good husband, good father, good son, good, and for me, it was, I don't know, it was priceless to be able to learn, not only how to grow a business and do well, and be successful and all that stuff, but, how to be a good man, good husband, good father. And that to me was the most priceless thing. But I was also able to, grow in my faith. So you talk about, a career where you're able to really grow professionally, and, internally, I learned so much, man. So,
What
when
are
I
some
came to Indianapolis,
signs, and why we, and not to cut you off and all that, but what are some signs for people who are entering into a certain career space or a certain path? And like you said, mentors were very pivotal in you becoming the type of man that you are today. What are some key signs in which people can notice, like, this is a good mentor, this is somebody that I should follow? I remember when I was leaving college, one of my sales professors said, Chris, don't find a job, find a boss, find somebody that you could follow, that, you know what I'm saying, that knows the path that you actually want to go. So what is some indicators for the people that's watching that can represent a good man or a good mentor, somebody that they should follow career wise?
first thing is look at how they're living their life, you know, not how much money they're making. Listen, people will be attracted to you because of what they see on the outside, but you'll end up staying somewhere because of who you become. So when you have an opportunity to get close to individuals, you'll get a chance to see how they're truly living their life. For me, morals mean more than anything. I don't care how much you can make all the money in the world, but if you ain't got no morals, I ain't following you. So I think if you look for individuals who have a good set of moral values, it'll really impact you in so many ways. I learned how to do business the right way. Not trying to get over on people. And when you be a good student in the process, and you work hard and you're coachable, you're hungry. I used to always tell my people, you need to show up with a hunger, and it's like water, H2O. You need to be hungry, humble, and open to coaching. I was hungry, I was humble, and I was open to coaching. And it would have been different if I wouldn't have been if I didn't start there, and I started somewhere where the individuals didn't have a good set of moral values and wasn't really living the right way in life. And guess what? Everybody can decide what's right and what's wrong, but for me, for the first time in my life, what the Bible defines as a good man, that's where I saw a witness. And I didn't have that. I grew up, my mom was married and divorced 5 times, before I moved out of the house. And, nothing against the men who were in the home. But I mean, if I'm just being honest, I didn't truly want to be like any of them. I did learn some things of what not to do, but I didn't want to be like them. And that was the first man who, I was like, man, this is
What was that
this. I'm
unlearning process like you said, most of what we learn from our parents is caught, not taught. They didn't tell us do this, they just demonstrated it. Most of, what I'm saying, we don't really do what they instruct us to do. We just become what they demonstrate. So with the stuff that was demonstrated for you, for the man that your mom had around you, and then you got older and you start to attract good mentors or good men, how did you start unlearning all the things that you had learned from the man that your mom had you around when you were younger? The things that you didn't want to have in you as you got older. What was your unlearning process like?
all right. So I wouldn't say it's unlearning because you'll never forget, right, the things that you learn. Um, I it was a change of perspective, so I looked at things from a different standpoint where I appreciated the things that I saw and witnessed growing up, and I was able to learn, what not to do. You get what I'm saying? Because you can learn from anyone and everyone. So I learned what not to do, but I knew just if I were to do the exact same things that they did in their life, where my life would be. So when you ask yourself, where do you want to be 20 years from now, 30 years from now? If that's not what it looks like, don't do what they did. So, it's that simple, and listen, man, the world we live in is it's sad for people to not have guidance because it's good people. You can find them. You have to put yourself in that situation. And I was blessed and fortunate that I didn't have to really go looking that much. It was right there. I didn't realize I was walking into this amazing opportunity of individuals who were going to pour into me and help me become the best version of myself, learn how to do that. But instead of them teaching me, they were doing it by example. I saw people for the first time taking care of their spirit, mind, and body. You get what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
just their body, which a lot of people do, and it's cool, right? But when you neglect your mind and your spirit in the process, you're gonna be broken. At some point in time, it's going to show. So I saw that. So I saw that happening. I saw individuals who had a vision, who had goals and aspirations and working towards it every single day, sacrificing. My mom was a great example of that, man. My mom, she sacrificed so much for us. My mom was the first person I saw as an entrepreneur trying to take care of her kids. She's a cosmetologist for all of her life. And, I saw firsthand what it's like to build something from scratch, and get it out the mud. You get what I'm saying? So, but from a male perspective, I never really saw that. All the men in the household, they had different type of things that they decided to do with their life. So I just learned what I knew I did not want to do, and I just what not to do. Because if I end up doing this is what it's going to look like, and I don't want that. I want this though. You get what I'm saying?
I think that that's extremely powerful. And for those who are just tuning in, we're really talking about his life story, but his life story is all reflected in the book "You Can Do It," which is a book that he just came out with. It's available on Amazon. I'm sure he got a link in his bio or whatever. So I'm just asking different parts about his life story that's reflected in the book. But you should all definitely go check out the book. It's definitely a motivational read. It's an empowering read as well, not just motivational. So something you kind of talk about in there is using pain as fuel. Can you talk a little bit about your process of using pain as fuel and actual real life examples of different pain points that may have derailed certain people or crippled certain people, but you use it as fuel to ultimately get where you're trying to go?
So when you think about fuel, right? Your vehicle needs fuel. You can put the wrong fuel in your car, and that thing won't even go. But if you put the right fuel in it, you can get to your destination. Now you might have to take a stop and add a little bit more fuel, but fuel is necessary. And I think I talk about the events that happen in your life that fuel you up, and we're all going to go through events in life, and it's how do you look at those events? Do you use those events and just storm? in the closet and forget about them, or do you use those events to fuel you up? You know, you're going to have people in your life that's going to doubt you. You're going to have people in your life that's going to backstab you. It's so many things that we're going to go through in life, and it's what are you going to do when those type of events happen? And for me, I decided that I'm using certain things as fuel. I don't know. Do you remember any of the ones I wrote about in the book? Anyone that you want me to specifically talk about when it comes to the fuel
That
piece?
particular chapter that's at my house. It's not where I'm at now. A story. Ooh, I don't. I should have been better prepared. Stories are jambling, but I don't know if it's from that particular chapter that I'm thinking about.
All right. So I hope the person who I really talked about in this chapter, they haven't hit me up yet to let me know that they read it, but I can't wait for the day for them to read this, right?
Oh, most likely they will.
Um,
I got a couple cuss outs when I drop my book, so it may most likely be coming.
right, right. um, so one of the stories that I shared in that chapter about finding the fuel that lights your fire. In high school, I went to my high school. The last 3 years, we were the state championship in Ohio, state champions in
Is this about the
football.
white boy?
Nah, this ain't about no white boy.
Oh, okay, with the N word, I was thinking that one. I didn't know if it was that. As soon as you said high school,
Well,
that came
hold on,
back.
hold on. Yes, it's about the person who said that, but
Okay,
they
okay,
ain't
okay.
white. That
Oh, they
person
was.
ain't white.
Wow.
Yeah. No, 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 no. So when you were reading it, you saw it from a different light. No, so this individual came to the school, was highly recruited. I didn't come to the school like that. The way I ended up going to the school was I was involved in this after school program where we would use this program so that we can actually have a place to play basketball. Because I thought I was going to the NBA. I got to my high school, tried out, got cut twice. I had to pick another sport. So, long story
Well, I've
short,
never made a basketball team, so you're gonna
no,
have to thank me
it's
that.
not
I
that
got cut
I
from
couldn't hoop. Listen,
I got
it's
cut
not
from
that I couldn't hoop.
elementary though. I got cut from
Yeah,
the elementary basketball team, so that's what I'm
I
saying.
got
You
you.
ain't had that experience.
Nah. So the school I went to, we were the state champions in basketball
Mm.
the year before I came in. Powerhouse. I mean, cats that went and became like I ain't gonna talk about too much about that. But anyways, this individual, multi-sport athlete, and we came in. He graduated the same time I did. He unfortunately did not end up graduating from my school because he got kicked out. But during the time when we were there, I remember when he came in, right? Something about we all just sat at the same table at lunch, and we would just talk our trash. We had our own little thing of how we communicated with each other. But long story short, this one particular day, I'll never forget this day. Roy Williams, who used to be the head basketball coach for the University of North Carolina, he was visiting, recruiting somebody who ended up going there, won some national championships there, played professional. Um, and he sat at our table. And this day, we talking the same type of trash that we would talk, but it just felt different because Roy Williams was sitting there. You get what I'm saying? And I'll never forget the comment that he made during this verbal altercation, this verbal fight, because eventually that's what it resulted to. We were smart enough to not physically throw hands because we would have got kicked out of the school. We weren't trying to do that. But it was verbal enough to where it was a verbal fight. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of it, he was like, nigga, you ain't shit and you ain't gonna never be shit. Woo! Woo! Those words, people don't understand. Events, people, places, or things you can find to use as fuel. And that event and those words, I never forgot. I'm talking like if somebody, talk about this in the book, if somebody would have literally took some real estate in my brain, they would have thought I had a problem. Because from that point on, those words were like tattooed in my mind. And from that point on, my motion, my motivation, all those things were driving me to prove to this dude, all right, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. And um, man, I never forget. I never forget those words. It was so crazy, man. In college, like I wrote this stuff down, and I would like look at this stuff. He ended up going to a bigger school. He went to
When you
Ohio State
say
University.
you wrote the stuff down, sorry for the just so I'm not assuming or filling in things. You're talking about the negative things that people would say to
No,
you.
no, no.
You
I
would
wrote
write
down.
that down.
I wrote down specifically what he said.
What he said.
Yep.
Okay, you just had that and you would look at that.
Man, he don't even know this. I thank him for saying this because that tool helped me go from there to getting myself in rooms I couldn't even believe I got into. You get what I'm saying? And I wrote this down on a piece of paper, and I would look at it. You know, when you go into college, your first few years, you live in a dorm room, you get the little bunk bed. For whatever reason, I don't remember if we played paper, rock, scissors. Jamani, if you catch on to this, you remember I ended up having to get the top bunk. Whatever. He was upperclassmen, so I got the top bunk. I had this piece of paper. People probably thought I was crazy. I don't know if he ever looked at it, but on that paper, I wrote down those words of what he said, and I would see those words. And those words I kept with me. I used it as fuel. Those moments when I didn't want to get up and get after it, because when you're a student athlete in college, it ain't no joke. I played football and I ran track and I graduated on time. Plus, I worked on and off campus, and I had a girlfriend and I managed a few other, whatever. And it was a lot of like every day, right? So those moments when I didn't want to do certain things and I didn't feel like it, I promise you that was fuel. I was able to look at those words and it fueled me. So this individual, he ended up going to Ohio State University. I went to Mount Union College. My freshman year, we won a national championship in D3. They won the national championship in D1. Uh, One of the last times they won a national, I think they won in 2014 too, if I remember. But anyways, we got our rings. We go out downtown Cleveland. We trying to floss me in the club. Some of the people from Cleveland, whoever ended up going playing sports, college, whatever, during my time, we in there flossing at each other, trying to show each other, trying to see whose rings bigger, right? But I just knew that there was going to become a point in time in life where we were going to be past that. He ended up getting drafted into the NFL. I wanted to go pro. It didn't happen for me. And in my mind, I was like, just because I don't go pro, don't mean I'm not about to go pro. You get what I'm saying? Because I have to make sure I make this dude eat his words. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, if we were to look at career earnings, I don't know if he would make those comments. And that don't mean I'm better than him or anything, but I promise you, those words he said to me at that point in my life fueled me. And I use it as fuel, So I tried to share that in the book because I know that everybody's going to go through some type of like event with an individual or whatever that they can use as fuel. And a lot of times people be forgetting it, And a lot of the people who I've met who have gone on to have quote unquote success in their careers, whatever, they found a way to use certain things as fuel, So it's just an inspiration for somebody. And I use my story just to say that. Somebody
And I
said, "What
hope,
did he say?"
oh, I'm
Somebody said, "What
sorry.
did he say?" I got in late. I was in high school. This was like my sophomore, junior year. We were at the lunch table, and the person said, "Nigga, you ain't shit. You ain't gonna never be shit."
And he used that as motivation to drive him to massive success. And I want a lot of people to pick up a couple things that he said, or at least implied. And somebody said words are fleeting. Yes, for real. Don't get caught in the label. And so one is that we all go through pain, but it's just about how you interpret that pain and how you choose to use that pain. Most of us choose to ruminate over that pain in ways that's going to make us feel stuck in life, make us feel less
Yep.
than, make us feel not good enough, make us feel like what we want ain't going to happen or it's impossible or all these other things. That's not what he did. He chose to think about it in times in which he felt down. That was the only time he was thinking about it. He didn't say he was dwelling on it all day and all this other stuff, just making himself mad like we do or making himself sad like we do. He only thought about it in regards to when he was tired as fuel to push himself forward. So I think that is a key takeaway. If you find yourself ruminating all over the time, then you probably need to seek out some type of mental health therapist to get that erased so it's
Yep.
not dominating your mind so much. And then once it's not dominating your mind, then you could channel it properly. Like I use it when I'm at the gym. A lot of people be like, yo, you be going hard, but that's where I burn out a lot of my aggression. So people will just see me and I'm just like, and a lot of times that's what I'm channeling. Like they seen a video of Michael Phelps right before he was swimming. And he was just sitting there by himself, just in his head, just, and everybody was like, what is he doing? But he was channeling
Right.
that particular pain. He was channeling that rage so it can come out in controlled bursts. And that energy will give you light years ahead of everybody else that's around you if you use it properly. I know Tony, not Tony Robbins, but Tim Grover, which was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, a whole bunch of other people. He said the
Yep.
exact same thing. He taught them to, when they're practicing, channel all their frustration. Anybody that doubted them, anybody that made them feel like they wasn't good enough. Exactly. And put it through your practice. Don't let it come out in rage at your household. So you smashing doors and breaking stuff,
Right.
or you're drinking and you just spiraling down and all this other stuff like that. No, learn how to put it in the right place and control it.
It was crazy,
Outside,
man. Like even through like man, like I'm watching this guy on TV, right? They win the national champion. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. He ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. Like I'm watching these things happen. I'm like, ain't no way I'm about to let this dude outdo me. Ain't no way. What? I will never forget the words. Like in my mind, nobody even knew this. But if somebody did real estate in my brain, they just thought I was crazy.
until they
But
seen the
yeah, you know, if we
results.
sat down, if we went to lunch right now, like man, career earnings, man, what would it look like, man? You know, we 40 years old now, man. You know, what you doing? You know, he couldn't say those words now. But I'm gonna thank him though, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if that fuel would have been lit. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we all got it in us. It got to be lit some way, shape, or form. And I got to give credit to him because he helped light that fuel in me. And from that day forward, I used it. You know, so I mean, you get to a point where you mature. Like, I'm not trying to prove people wrong, all that good stuff. But there's certain things that you can use to still fuel you, to help you progress you, to overcome this, to
Can
to
you
achieve
think
that.
of like like a moment in your business and entrepreneurial journey before you were able to sell your company and retire at a very young age?
Yeah,
Can you think of a time in which you, if it wasn't for that fuel, that particular fuel, you wouldn't have gotten through that hurdle, or you wouldn't have been able to make that deal happen, or you wouldn't have been able to figure out that situation? But as you was sitting there,
yeah,
you was like, nah, even 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, you like, nah, this dude got me
yeah.
messed up, and you were able to
Right.
plow through the obstacle.
Yeah, I remember when I first started knocking on doors out there in the cold in Cleveland, Ohio, freezing. I remember making these phone calls, just smiling and dialing, man. All that just, I came up in the industry when it was a lot harder to make it happen. Now it's easier. You got the virtual world and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I remember those days, man, just getting after it, working, dude, like 80 to 100 hours a week. And I ain't care.
Mm.
We were sacrificing, getting after it. You know, I remember those times when, you know, I'm under a lot of pressure to do this and to do that, you know, and I got these expectations of things that I got to deliver on. And, you know, getting into rooms, like I said, I remember when I first sat down, I made the executive council. Actually, I got it up in my home office, that picture behind me. Only a select few people in the company where I'm from, where I had my career, that looked like me actually made that concert, if that makes sense. And I remember just sitting there. I'm like, how did I get here? I'm at this table with, I'm talking multimillionaires. Like I ain't did nothing, you know. So
What's the
I'm like,
most you
so
earned in a year for the people that's listening
I
so
can't
they'll kind
talk
of know?
about that, man. It's just,
Can you
you
at least
know,
say a figure? Can you say
it's
a
over
figure
7.
in a year? Thank you. Okay,
Yeah,
so people would know, who, because people would just think that I'm just talking to somebody that, whatever. And I'm trying to tell people he retired and retired like not, people say, I retired from my job, my day job. We're not talking about the people on social media that be talking about they retired from their day job, but they still working. No, this brother like really retired off of some M's, was able to buy his wife a franchise and helping doing that, and literally full time is just grinding on helping his daughter become the athlete of her dreams and all that stuff. Got the time freedom, the money freedom, like is living a real dope lifestyle. So again, this ain't a social media influencer. He really don't. This is his first live. You know what I'm saying? I had to convince him
Right.
to even come on live. So
I
in
didn't
the
even know
real
how to
world,
work those
he's
things. I'm like,
successful.
how does
Yeah,
he work?
not on social media. In the real world, he's extremely successful. So I just wanted to preface that. And somebody asked in the comments what this is about. He wrote a book called "You Can Do It," going over his life story. So we're talking about different points in it. And the point we were talking about now is how to channel your pain and use it as fuel. So I'm sorry.
Are you good? But yeah, man. So from high school through college and professionally, I was able to use those specific that one specific thing to fuel me. And I got to give him so much credit. I can't wait for him to read this. And thank you, man. I'll give you a signed copy. Like I don't know if I would have ever found that fuel. I don't know.
It would be so dope for y'all to kind of do like a interview type thing together, like almost like when Travis Hunter last year, when the white dude hit him and injured him, and everybody was all outraged, and then they ended up doing a sit down, talking together, and all that. And that video did like millions of views and all that. I think something similar came to my head as you were talking about you and that guy.
That's not a bad idea. You know what? I might actually reach out to him and directly tell him that I wrote about him in my book.
I
But
think might
I've
be
been trying
fire.
to like not want him to find out some way, shape, or form, and he realized, oh wow, you just talk about me.
You'll be surprised though, man. He might resonate really with that.
Right.
So another thing that you talk about a lot in the book, but then also outside of the book, is purpose. And especially in my industry, being a healing coach, primarily for men, I do work with women now too. But a lot of the men that come to me, and when they're not really right emotionally, a lot of times they don't really know what their purpose is. They don't feel like they got a purpose. And for me, a lot of times when a guy doesn't have a purpose, tends to have a negative self-image, tends to have low self-worth, and therefore that's what's driving a lot of the self-destruction behavior. Whether you're sabotaging your marriage, whether you're sabotaging your career, sabotaging other relationships, it's
Right.
stemming from that. So, can you talk a little bit about purpose, how you found your purpose, and the importance of people walking in their purpose?
Um, yeah, absolutely. Purpose is so important because here's the thing: if you're breathing, you were given an amazing opportunity, to live out your purpose. I write about when we talk about this in the book. I talk about what's the chances of actually having life. You get what I'm saying? And it's so interesting. Some of the studies that I was able to find and all that stuff. Like man, like it's crazy. Like of all the individuals that could have had life that didn't have life, but we have life. You can't take that for granted. But when you're here, though, it's so hard to come to that conclusion and try and figure that out. And I think, a lot of people, they're seeking their identity or their identity through what they do. Um, and, it's challenging to figure out the purpose. For me, I didn't understand what purpose was until I came into the industry where I retired from. I was able to go from meeting individuals who led me to individuals that helped me discover and understand what purpose is. So think about something, right? We all been given life. And it's like, I'm given life for what? I'm given life to make a difference while I'm here. No one knows how much time they have. No one knows. But while you're here, there's a reason why you're here. And with that purpose, so Isaiah 49:5. I mean, let me just go straight to it. If you've never read the book of Isaiah, cool. But guess what? I want to challenge you all to read the verse in chapter 49, verse 5. That will help you find your purpose because we were all formed in the womb to do something while we're here. And when I actually came across that, it set me free to understand the reason why I was put here. You get what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for the career where I started, I would have never came across this. You know, so you got to serve. At the end of the day, it's serving in the space that you're in and making a difference and an impact in this world, regardless of your vocation. Like I can be in sales, I can be a teacher, but you can serve other people and make a difference while you're here in the process.
What's that verse
Because
again?
Isaiah 49 verse 5.
Somebody asked in the comments again. That's why I wanted you to repeat it. And
Yeah,
she said it's
Isaiah.
hard when you lose that, then you have to figure out your true purpose. That is true. That's why you always got to keep purpose first. Always got to keep purpose first. Anytime you are out of alignment, you're probably not walking inside your purpose.
Now listen, so let's say I'm not somebody to open up a Bible. I'm gonna tell you this. It will be hard for you to find your purpose in life. It's gonna be hard. You listen, you ain't gotta be this religious person. I don't really believe in all that crazy stuff. I know that if you're here, you are here for a reason. You won the race. You came out of your dad. I'll talk about this in the book too. When you came out, when your dad shot you out, bing, it was you and a whole bunch of little things swimming. You made it to that egg and you here. However long you've been here, there's a reason why you're here. So in the process and the time of you being here, you got to figure out, what am I supposed to do? And I promise you, we were all put here to serve and make an impact while
Facts.
we're here. All of us.
I believe my purpose is to educate, heal, and empower. And for so long, I put
But
my
you're serving though. You're serving.
I am serving.
That's serving.
I am
And
serving.
you're
And that's where my worth comes from. And that's where I feel my value comes from. For so long, I struggled with self worth and self esteem. I see Amanda come in here, her husband, somebody that really helped me years ago come out of that. And that was a key thing for me. I used to put so much value in either the woman that I was with, or the status that I was having, or the money that I was making. And I always just felt just so empty inside. And then once I started figuring out why I personally feel like I was created. You know what I'm saying? And it's like every fiber of my being believes that it's tied to educating, healing, and empowering. And when I'm doing those things, that's what really makes me feel valuable. That's where I really feel like I get my worth. It's not my relationship, it's not my work status, it's not any of those things. It's really when I'm, like you said, serving and feel like I'm walking
bingo.
in my purpose.
Right? So that's like the big picture of it, right? Serving. But when you break it down though, because we'll have different roles in our life, right? Before I became a husband, I was a single bachelor. I didn't have to, conduct myself a certain way. But men, we have different roles, purpose-wise, compared to women. The world will try and confuse you to tell you that you can identify as a laptop if you want to. But
Unfortunately.
I can't believe we got to this point, but it is what it is, right? So the thing is you got to understand whatever your responsibilities are for the obligations you have, what your purpose are in that area too. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm a father. I have to train up my child the right way so that at some point in time they don't depart. That's one of my jobs. Purpose as a father. As a being, though, whether I'm a man or a woman, it is to serve. And you will not have, like, you are going to feel empty until you're in a capacity where you're serving. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say it doesn't matter your vocation. You can be a teacher, you can be this, you can be that, you can be, like, you can be a janitor. There's one of my favorite books, Lead for God's Sakes. You ever read that book?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's a great book. And within the book, the coach learns a lot from the janitor, and the janitor is walking in his purpose. Don't even understand the janitor and like why he's doing what he's doing. But long story short, we all heard, you treat everybody with respect, no matter if they're this or that, right? But I learned so much about, somebody in that type of position and how they can be served. Give me 1 second. I need to get this charger because I'm at
All
3%.
right,
And if I don't grab
do your
it,
thing.
we're going to die. Just give
Do
me
your thing, brother.
1 second. I'll be right back.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. I got James Cunningham right now live where you're going over his book, you can do it. Available on Amazon. Definitely the home. We're gonna go into relationships next. We were talking about how to use your pain as fuel, and then we were also talking about purpose, actually finding your purpose, fulfilling your purpose. Then we're gonna transition into relationships because really, brother got some jewels that he gave me years ago that literally has changed how I interact with women and has been game changers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he got a wealth of knowledge when it comes to relationships. And again, we're not listening to somebody who ain't got the results that we want. He's in a happy, fulfilled marriage. You know what I'm saying? Really out here committed to it. And like he said, when he was talking about how to identify a mentor early on, he said, I was that person living his life. So this is a person that's really, really living his life. You know what I'm saying? Every single day up at 4. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Reading
and I
Proverbs,
ain't up at 4 no
always
more.
studying.
I ain't gonna sit here.
Well,
I
I ain't
used to
gonna
be
stop.
up.
That stopped within the last year at least.
Uh, let's see, we're 24. Nah, I've been
How
getting
long
up
has it
like
been?
I went from like 4 to 4:30 to 5 to 5:30.
It's retirement. But hey,
Yeah,
you up, Ilms, man. You can do really whatever you want, but you still seem very, very disciplined because many people
oh
ain't
yeah,
retired and ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I appreciate that. But like I was telling them, one thing I'm grateful for is a lot of the relationship advice that you really gave me years ago when we had met, when we first did, when you came on my podcast. And one of the things were anytime, and fellas definitely use this, anytime your woman wants to talk to you, not saying like, hey, baby, we need to talk, but if she is just coming to you with a problem, always ask, hey, babe, do you need me to solve or do you need me to just listen? That has been revolutionary in regards to dealing with women because a lot of times we just always thinking to solve their problems because we thinking as a man, if we talking about something, it's because we want it
right,
solved, not because we just want to
right.
express and all that stuff. So it's like that's what we think they want when they come to us, but that's not what they want. They just be wanting us really just to listen. So literally asking,
99.9% of the time they want us to listen. They man,
don't want us to solve
women, man,
nothing.
they some talkers, boy. Phew.
Thanks. But that was a game changer. Another game changer was no BCD, no blaming, no complaining, and no defending. When a person is bringing you something that you did that wronged them or something that they actually want to talk about. So you don't blame your actions on, well, I did it because you did this, or I'm not complaining at the fact that you're bringing me something, or I'm not defending my particular actions. So it's like those two things have been like game changers that I really communicate to a lot of different men. And again, I apply that in my day to day life, and I
That's awesome.
recognize great improvement, man. So I just wanted to give you your flowers on that.
I appreciate that, man. We all can bring
What game
value,
you got
man.
for us today on relationships, man? I know you got some. I know you got some more wisdom.
Um, if we're talking about relationships, what comes to my mind right now is just understanding your role. I think a lot of times outside of the relationship not having the right foundation and why relationships don't work, because that's the major one, right? If I'm trying to build something with someone, but that foundation is weak, then we ain't gonna build nothing. So if it's the right foundation, and I know we talked about this, we talked about you got to seek to understand before you seek to be understood, because we're always trying to get our point across. We want them to, try to understand the individual before you try and get them to understand you. And that's a selfless act. It's hard to do that, you know. But the thing that came to my mind though about relationships is just understanding your role. And men, we are supposed to provide. We're supposed to protect. Like the Bible tells us that Adam was made first, not Eve. And the reason why Eve came into the picture is because he needed a help meet. And that's a rib, though, right? So when you find that, guess what? You gotta give that individual something to help you with. So men, I think we can get so caught up in the lust in this world. It's hard. It is. Like I'm a man. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm not a man. I go to the gym. I ain't listen, man. I'm doing my workout. I'm about to drink something to drink because I'm tired. I'm bend over. I look up. I see some cheeks in my face. Like what? I ain't asked for all this.
And
Look to
they
the left. I see.
smell it on you. Let's acknowledge, you drive a very nice car. You look like money,
It ain't
realistically, you
even
know what I'm
about
saying?
me though.
I
This ain't
know, but I'm
about me.
saying
I'm just
the
saying.
women look at you like
I
that, so I
got
know it's
you.
enticing. I know it's enticing,
I'm
you know what
just
I'm saying?
saying though. As a man, it's hard. It's truly hard. To get distracted from what you need to focus on. And the point that I'm making is, and you can even open up social media, dude. You go to your search bar and you trying to search something that they ain't got nothing to do with the videos that they popping up. Like, what? I ain't asked for these cheeks to be popping in my like. I'm just being real right now.
Facts.
You get up like I'm just like, what is happening? Like clapping. All right. Anyways,
Facts though.
so like we are supposed to build something so that at the end of the day they can help us with. And when it's the other way around, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard because men were not innately supposed to be in that role. We're supposed to be the providers. We're supposed to be the like protectors and all that stuff. And women, listen, nothing against women. Women are powerful. Women got so much power. It's crazy the power that they have. I mean, but that's a pain in my mind in regards to relationships. But I'm not a relationship expert. I'm still trying to master mine.
Hold up, Doc.
I've been married since we got married 2010. We just celebrated our 14-year anniversary. Been together for 16 years. And it's crazy, man. Time flies by.
It
But
does. But
when you're
I was listening to Tony Gaskin, and he said that it's easier for a man to make money than live to make his wife consistently happy. So it's just like when you see a wife that's is happy in her relationship, in a long-term relationship, a committed relationship, I think that it does give a testament to you. So it's like you say you're not a relationship expert and all that stuff, but I believe in following the person that knows. And again, when I see real life, not social media and all that stuff like that, but real life with you interacting with your relationship with your wife, and I see the love and the respect and all that, then I see what you're able to provide. I see how you're able to protect them. I see how you're able to give them provision and they listen and all that. That's in my eyes what gives you the authority to actually speak on these particular subjects. Because again, you're not just a talking head online. You're actually in real life demonstrating these particular things, and that's harder to do than making money. It's to consistently keep a woman happy, especially these day and ages, because they in what do they call it? Where they can no fault divorces and irreconcilable differences or whatever it
crazy.
is, basically meaning they just not happy.
I think if you meet them in your stage of trying to build something, you'll get a better glimpse of their true colors. Because when you've already, man, it's crazy when you already built something, and then you pick them. The next thing you know, they take everything you didn't work for, and you want to go blow everybody's brains out.
If you
So
listen though, they tell you, man. I remember before I got with who I'm with now and all that, I was dating this younger chick, and I'll never forget. She was just like, one thing she said on our last time linking up together that I heard her say under her breath was, "I always catch a man in the rebuilding phase." Just like, yeah, that let me know what you really after. I'm cool. So it's good that they'll just let you know to your face nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, they're bold. They're bold. Women are bold.
so what some indicators for what would some indicators be of a good wife for men who are looking, because sometimes men come across a wife and they don't know because wasn't raised around it. They don't know if that's what the qualities actually are. I know for me, and again, this is a no shot to my father or anything, but this is just the reality. Every time I seen him growing up, he was with a different woman. So in my mind, I always thought, you got to have a high body count in order to be, a man and be respected and all. It wasn't until I got into like my mid 20s that I started finding other mentors and all that started shifting my perspective on relationships and marriage and commitment and all these other things. So it's just like for the people who might not have an archetype of, okay, when I see this woman, like it says in the Bible, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Yep.
What are some indicators that no, this is a wife. This ain't a hoe. This ain't no girl for the streets. This ain't no fun girl. This is a wife. And what's some gems that you could give in regards to
So
identifying a wife?
Proverbs 31, first thing that comes to my mind, really outlines um, the type of wife that I think every man should try and go after. Um, she's untouchable, man. She's the real deal, and she's modest. She ain't all out there. She don't need to be like, she ain't trying to, like, I think a lot of women don't understand that, you doing all of this, you're showing all the goods. All that's going to do is attract the wrong things. I think a modest woman, who dresses themselves, who carries himself a certain way is so important. Um, but you got to look for those characteristics of, can this person help me build what I'm trying to build? Um, like, do they have those characteristics? Can I see myself building a family with this individual? Like, do they have that quality of motherly duties? You get what I'm saying? Like in my situation, I'm the type, I feel like I didn't want to really, I didn't have like a whole long list. Can you cook? Can you take care of a house? I mean, you gotta have some kind of physical attraction. Right? It's hard to, not be physically attracted to your mate, but there's somebody for everyone. Because eventually, man, that stuff will get old. You ain't gonna look the same. Like, I don't. I try to tell my wife, like, man, I still look like when I first met you. No, I don't. uh,
She
you
don't
know,
kill the
but
ego too much though. She do.
nah, she did. We be making fun of each other, and I think that's so important. You got to be able to have fun
Yes.
and laugh. Man, we should start a series. It'd be crazy some of the stuff we be doing, like just roasting each other. You get more comfortable with each other, but you start to understand more about yourself, more about the woman, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. But for me, man, I just wanted a woman who could take care of things in the house, from cooking. Like, I couldn't be with some dirty woman. No, no. If you ain't, like, in Proverbs 31 talks about a woman who takes care of the house, that will wake up, rise up earlier and take care and prepare things for the family, and before we even had a kid, I saw that. Man, this woman wakes up every morning, she's cooking. My daughter is blessed. She's privileged to be able to get, a home cooked meal before going to school. I ain't had it like that. There were days I didn't even know what I was gonna eat. I had to figure it out though, and I think you can see those qualities in someone before you actually get with them. You might have to check them out, and how they operate, and a lot of times, they might not have actually had the best example themselves. Like, truth be told, like, you'll find a lot of great women who didn't have the best example, but that don't mean that they can't become that, if that makes
Facts.
sense. And yeah, I saw the qualities I was looking for, and I think if you look for those qualities and characteristics in a woman, um, good things could happen. But again, you got to have something that you're. There's a reason for them coming and joining you. They're helping you in something. So you got to have something that they're going to help you with, because otherwise it's going to be a little friction. There's going to be some
So
obstacles
should
and
a
challenges.
man pursue a woman if he's not already in pursuit of his purpose, or a man should only pursue a woman after he's already in the process of
I,
building?
I think you need to pursue building something before you pursue trying to get a help me.
So on the flip side of that, having a daughter, now we're gonna give game to the women. With you having a daughter, what insight do you give her on the ideal man? Like how to recognize, all right, when a guy comes to you, and how do you recognize, no, this guy's serious about you. This is an actual good guy. This is a guy you want to say yes to if he proposes and all that. What's some indicators for men out there for the women that's listening?
Well, the way I raised her is I raised her, with a biblical foundation of how things should go and how things are going to go. First off, I show her by example how she should be loved. So, her love language is very similar to mine because that's what I've shown her since day one. Um, but I'm gonna be the filter for her. She ain't gonna even have to. bang her head up against the wall, because I am not gonna let some joker, you know, come into the equation and ruin something that, you know, as a father of a daughter, you will spend a good portion of your life raising her up to be a great helpmeet and queen for somebody. I'm not about to let you just marry some buster. Like, so this, if you ain't even, oh, you like my daughter, okay, so show me your business plan. Show me what is your plan that you're going to try, like, what's the plan here, right? If it don't make sense, it ain't happening. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I think I'm gonna look for those moral values. You know, she knows that that's important. You know, if the man can't lead, you can't lead. You're gonna go nowhere. So he's got to be a leader. You know, he's got to have something that he's built. You know, you know, there's going to be a reason for her to be your helpmate, because otherwise it ain't gonna happen. You know, but my objective is to handle that from a biblical standpoint, the way that, you know, like I tell her, I'm like, hey man, I feel sorry for whoever come to me talking about, can I marry your daughter? I'm like, you have to serve. You ready to serve for 7 years?
Hey, that's
You
what
serve
I told you on our
just like
podcast.
my
I said he gonna
forefathers
have to be a
served. Oh, you
structured
see,
brother.
but hold on, check this out. This is important. This is why it's so important to be in your daughter's life, because a man that's willing to serve for you, he truly wants you. A man ain't willing to serve, he don't want you.
Hey,
He
that's
just
a that's a fact.
he just lusted by you, you know. So I know what my daughter's gonna bring to the table. She's so smart, strong, man. She got, man, you know. And guess what? Ain't no buster coming in the picture. But I'm gonna be the filter to so she don't have to bang her head. You know,
So
as long.
how do you manage that? I know we coming up on the hour, so this will be the last question. But I'm curious on this because a lot of times when I ask women, you know, who've had bad relationships with men and all that in the past. And I'll be like, well, did your father approve of that guy? Nah, my dad didn't really like him. Okay, well, did your dad like that guy? Nah, my dad didn't really, but you dated him anyway. So how do you maintain that level of influence with your daughter where she's not like rebelling or not necessarily even intentionally rebelling, but just not acquiescing to your provision or your wisdom that you're trying to give to her, and she's choosing to go against the grain and then bumping her head against the wall and all that?
It's between father and mother, because she'll watch her mother conduct herself a certain way. So if her mother conducts herself a certain way, it's going to influence her to deal with me throughout her life a certain way. Um,
Meaning
but
that if
more
the
than
mom
anything,
is disregarding you or belittling you or making it seem like your voice doesn't matter, then that's what will translate to the daughter.
right? They learn so much from just watching how mom deal with dad. But the biggest thing though is just trying to raise them up the right way. If you raise them up the right way, with creating the right foundation, you won't have difficulty. You know, but when you don't have foundation, if you're not raising them up with morals and values, they're going to be doing things based on how the world operates. You know, and that's the only thing that I can bank on of, you know, down the road, it not being as challenging, because, you know, I grew up in a household with two sisters that got pregnant very, very young age. And there was a lot of instability in the male role model department in the household. And I know that contributed towards why they were seeking this out there and doing this. And then that ended up happening. And the best blessing you can have is a child, right? You know? Um, so I think the biggest thing is just, if you try your hardest to raise your kid up the right way, I ain't talking about spoon feeding them. I'm talking about teaching them right from wrong, giving them the correct set of morals and values and principles of what's how this is gonna go. You know, they, when they're old, man, they won't depart from that. You know, but the father is supposed to protect the daughters, you know, and make sure that she's not going to be, you know, the Bible says, you know, I mean, we ain't got to get too descriptive, you know, but you got to protect them from their own good, you know, because it's a battle, man. It's a battle. the world is trying to steal your child, trying to influence and corrupt and this and that and so on and so forth, then you got to battle it. So if like for me, I always wanted to be able to um, have a little bit more control of the influence of my child. And I knew that picking the right career would give me the future opportunities to be able to have